I study how the brain works. And I do this, in particular, I do this by sticking people inside of MRI machines, and I take thousands of pictures of their brains as they go about some cognitive task, and I use these images of the activity in the brain to try to figure out how memory works in the brain, what structures are involved, how they operate, how they interact with each other, and how this changes with age, and how it may be different in typical healthy aging from different forms of dementia. So this is actually what I do, and so of course it's a lot easier to talk about those kinds of things, but there's another real reason why I actually present some of this at the beginning. And that is because as we start to get to the more applied aspects, which will start a little bit before lunch, as we start to get to these, having this foundation in how memory works is going to help us understand how it goes awry and different techniques that you may actually be able to do to try to help this. Stress is a bad thing as well. In particular, if you're not doing a sort of standard dose of acute stress, if you're doing chronic levels of stress, or very, very severe acute stress, you got problems. So I'm showing you a little bit of work here from Tali Barum, also in the CNLM down at UCI. And you can ask the question, all right, let's take a hippocampus here, and let's ask what these stress hormones actually do to the hippocampus and to neurons in the hippocampus. Well, if you take some hippocampal tissue and you bathe it in glucocorticoids, you find out that it actually kills hippocampal neurons. And that's not going to be a good thing. You know, you're killing the neurons that are the things that are letting you learn new facts and events. Not good. It will retract these dendritic spines. Remember in the movie, the little spines coming out and making new contacts and all this kind of thing? It retracts them. So here you have a control. You can see it's sort of fuzzier than the stress one because it has fewer of these little spines. We can look at that here. In stressed animals, there's a decrease in the number of dendritic spines. There's a shift from this long-term potentiation, strengthening connections, to long-term depression, weakening connections. There's also something called neurogenesis. There are only two spots in your brain as an adult where new neurons are being formed. One is the olfactory bulb that helps you smell, and the other thing is a specific spot of the hippocampus called the dentate gyrus. And stress inhibits this neurogenesis, these new neurons coming into the hippocampus. So all of this, you put any of these things alone or certainly together, yeah, you're going to be impairing memory with stress. Turns out there are some very interesting things that people are discovering now in terms of how early childhood stress, at least in rats, and they're trying to back it up in humans as well, but early childhood stress can actually set you up not to have memory impairments right then and there, but actually to have memory impairments later on in life in the rat version of middle age. So this kind of thing is going on heavily as well. So chronic stress or severe acute stress is decidedly not a good thing. This starts tying into depression, because stress and depression are intimately related. In fact, in the rats, when they're trying to do things like model depression, they use stress as a way to really sort of induce this.